I don't mean to say this like to be disrespectful, and maybe this is some people are gonna think this sounds dumb, but I feel like there's a deeper reason why, people of color and specifically the Black community have been relentlessly persecuted. Like, I mean, just the things that happened during slavery alone, like, were insane. But I don't know, the more I learn about Black history and the ways that people who literally worked in the government, like the CIA, all these different people in power were trying to ruin the Black community. And it makes me think, dude, I feel like, is there something more going on here than just racism? Because it's like, come on, you're telling me you're doing all of this stuff just because you don't like someone's skin color? I feel like, what if, I have this theory that, like, what if Black people have some type of superpower? Like, what if they have, I don't know, if they're just born with something very valuable that we don't really know about, but maybe, like I said, these rich people and these people in power, maybe they figured it out a long time ago, and maybe that's why they were like, oh, we have to, like, get rid of them, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I feel like maybe they have something special that we are not taught about that is linked to them being people of color, I feel like I have this theory that this goes so much deeper than maybe a lot of us realize, because I'm sorry, but I don't think you're going to go out of your way for all these hundreds and hundreds of years to try to ruin one group of people over something as silly as, oh, their skin is a different color. Like, I feel like there's something that we don't know.
The Black Jesus story was probably one of the most shocking things I ever heard. It came from my insider, Jacob, I call him that in the book, who actually was working for the Rothschilds and still does, and also is a whistleblower who doesn't really do what they want but continues to work for them because he feels like there's some very serious extraterrestrial threats to Earth and that what they're doing is very necessary to protect us. So the story goes that in the 1960s, there was a Black man in Africa who came in with abilities complementary to those of Jesus. And he was performing miracles. He was starting to get people to listen to what he had to say. And the cabal tried to kill him, and, they could shoot him in the head, and his skull would just regenerate, and the flesh would grow back, and he was fine. And, so the crazy story that I heard, and remember, I was told at the time that if I disclosed this, that I would be killed, and I ended up putting it in the book anyway. But the story was that this guy, they finally said, okay, we're going to bring you to the United Nations and share your message with the world. Let's get you on this flight. They bring him on this flight. And instead of bringing him to the United Nations, they shot him repeatedly and then actually had some kind of meat grinder device and basically like a bandsaw, I guess, and sawed up his body into a whole bunch of pieces, put him in these very like radioactive shielded containers, and then had all these fighter jets dock with the plane and fly his body parts to all corners of the world, where then these containers turned them into ash. And they thought that maybe this would defeat him, like that his body somehow, the tissue was necessary. So if they destroyed all the tissue in all these places across the world, maybe they could defeat him. Well, he then regenerated in their offices and was fully fine, fully intact. But the sad part is that he said, you guys so badly do not want me to be here that I am not going to be able to do any more. You're going to get what you want, but bear in mind that in the future, many others like me will be coming, and when they do, you will not be able to stop us.
Wow.
They know that there are black beings in those UFOs.
Esau makes a lot of alien movies. Each alien seems more fierce than the next. And it's always about an invasion of ships. That's because Esau knows the Bible. I'm talking about the high-level Masons secret society, that is. You see, movie directors are 100% pure Masons. They are part of the network propaganda machine against the one who the world called Jesus Christ. You see, they plan to fight his return, to keep rulers there. But you know, but like I say, yeah, man, this is how Esau really see the Most High and the one who the world called Jesus Christ and his angels as something evil to them, as depicted in these alien films. Frightening, terrible, because he knows his fate is sealed. That's why even though he see Jake in his low estate, when I say Jake, I'm talking about the 12 tribes, the lost 12 tribes. In his low state, he envied the hell out of us, as with extreme hatred. But that's why he's hated throughout eternity by the Most High, as it says in Malachi 1:4 and Obadiah 1:18. But Esau the dragon, he has to fight. You're going to have to fight him to establish the glory, which is the kingdom. That's right. And you think that he's some punk, and he's not going to avenge his brethren, his fellow Israelites? You got to be out of your goddamn mind. 2/3 of Israel going to be fighting along with Esau to try to fight the Yahweh Shai's return. You know, the one who they call Jesus Christ. He's going to try to fight him. You know, that's why they rightfully named the 2/3 club. You know, they doomed from the get-go. But like I said, I just wanted to point out how the deception is to deceive the masses. Like I say, every movie that you see coming out now is about an incoming invasion. Notice the big, massive ship. You know, you can go to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. It talks about the big ship, the big mountain, massive mountain that he saw in the air that he couldn't see the end of. That's what all these movies got all they plot from. It's from the Bible. So I'm just letting y'all know, man. It's just, you know, those movies are not just by accident. Those are biblical movies, and they sending you signals of prophecy. So I just wanted to let you know about what's going on concerning the movies. And I know some of you already know, but I was led to, you know, to do a little video concerning that. So shalom, brothers, and y'all stay up, man. Y'all please stay the fuck up.
A fast-moving object the size of Manhattan is hurtling towards our solar system, and it will make its closest pass to Earth on December 17th. Comet, asteroid, or something else? A Harvard astrophysicist believes there's a strong likelihood this is a craft of alien origin, and the implications, obviously, for humanity would be profound.
Approaching at colossal speed, and its exact origin is yet to be determined. It received the moniker of 3-Eye Atlas, and like its predecessor, it arrived from interstellar space. But this time, things appear even stranger, and potentially far more dangerous. According to scientist Avi Loeb and his colleagues at Harvard University, the object's trajectory is too precise to be random. It looks more like a calculated flight path, as if someone had intentionally plotted and adjusted its course through the solar system, with the possibility that Earth may be its main point of interest. Add to that its enormous speed. 3-Eye Atlas is traveling almost twice as fast as most known objects in the solar system. And this visitor isn't just fast, it's a true giant. For reference, despite its mysterious nature, Oumuamua was relatively small, about 330 to 380 feet long, roughly the length of a football field. But this new object is hundreds of times larger. According to early estimates, its diameter could reach 6 to 9 miles, comparable to the size of Manhattan Island.
So are you not positing the idea that those vehicles contain, you know, beings who are, you know, maybe like us?
There is one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark, black.
Black skin.
Really black. Yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall?
Yeah.
How tall? Do you know?
Well, they got out the doorway. I don't know how high that is, but
Well, what?
Say 7 feet would be probably a conservative estimate.
Huge cigar-shaped ship appeared over the Air Force Base. These cigar-shaped ships were over a mile in length. One of them landed on the airport landing strip area. The back of this craft opened up, and several hundred young men with huge, heavy weapons came out of two sides of the ship and formed a protection line around the ship. And the people at that Air Force base, the commander, had a meeting with the individuals that were aboard this ship. And this particular race that landed those ships and that are seen in these huge cigar-shaped ships, they are a black race. They look like African Americans. They were about 6'4", 6'5", huge weapons. And if you've ever seen a race of people that were conquerors, that had never been conquered, they've got this look about them of arrogance. That is exactly what these extraterrestrials had, and they informed these people at this American Air Force base that not only were they from a militaristic society, but they had control a large portion of the galaxy that